Before I get started with this video, I just wanted to quickly address some issues I'm having with some of my recently uploaded videos. If you are a subscriber, I sincerely apologize. You may have noticed that a few of my recent uploads are no longer found on my channel. I had some copyright issues due to background music. I tried to resolve the issue via YouTube without taking down the videos, but no real luck with that, so I just decided to take down the videos. I had been using what was claimed to be copyright-free material, but apparently it's not the case, so I'll have to redo them and upload at some future date. I hope you will bear with me while I try to resolve this issue. Okay, I've been wanting to make this video for a while. I wasn't able to get to it any sooner because it took me longer than I thought to prep the ground for planting. I still have a few more trees to work on, but the majority have been planted, so I want to do a walk around and show you everything I have growing in my backyard orchard. I'd also like to point out that the majority of these plants and fruit trees have been in the ground less than a year, some as little as 3 months. Next season, I'll do another walk around and I'll do a before and after to see how they've done. I'm not going to go into too much detail on each of these that I'm about to show you. I've already posted videos on most of the trees, so you can search my channel and get details on how they were planted, fruiting, etc. This one here is the first of 3 grapevines I have growing in half-wine barrels that I'm going to be showing you. All varieties are best suited for making wine. They have a thick skin and contain seeds. They're very sweet and can be eaten fresh, but only the inside flesh is edible. The outer skin is too thick and tough, so it's not suitable for eating. It put on a good sized crop, but I believe a squirrel got to some of them. There's still a few left on the vine that are close to being ready to harvest, but it's been thinned out quite a bit. This next tree is a Guava. It's about 5 years old. I have it growing in a 15-gallon container, but I intend to transplant it into this wooden planter next spring. This next one is another winemaking grapevine. It also put out a decent crop, but the squirrel got to it as well. And this is my Pakistan mulberry tree. I recently stripped the majority of the leaves off of it in the hope of encouraging new growth and fruit production. I may have done this too late in the season. I should have done it in spring, but I thought I'd give it a shot anyways. I haven't had a whole lot of fruit production off this tree. It's a mature tree that is transplanted into this wooden planter less than a year ago. I'm hoping I can get it to start producing fruit, growing in a container. We'll see how that goes next season. This is the third winemaking grapevine. All of these grapevines that I just showed you are nearly 5.5 years old. I didn't get much of a fruit set on this one. I think the reason may have been lack of sunlight in this area. I may need to move it or make some other landscaping changes in order to get more sunlight. It only produced a small amount, as you can see. These are just about ready for harvest. This next one is my Lolita Suriname cherry. This one put a heavy crop back in mid-May. I harvested over 100 fruit off this tree, and now it's putting a second harvest. I've already harvested a few off of it, but nowhere near as many as I did before. This Lolita is a black variety, and it's best to pick them when they're this color here. I also have a red variety, which I'll show you in a bit. Here in the corner here, I have a black pepper plant. It's not doing very well in this area, but it's still alive. It's been planted here a little over 2 years now. Every winter it dies back and loses all its leaves, then comes back in spring. And it's never produced any peppercorns. I also have these two kiwi vines, a male and a female. I haven't decided where I'll be planting these. I have another section in my yard that I'm still working on. Might plant these in that area, but until then, they will have to stay in the containers. Next are my Cavendish banana plants. These are pups from a mother plant that I was able to harvest a small crop from last year. I also have a flame seedless grapevine and this Suriname cherry growing in this area. This is the one of the red varieties I was talking about. The grapevine produced just 2 small clusters of grapes. The Suriname hasn't produced any cherries. These banana plants shade out this area, so I'll be transplanting them to another section of my yard next season. Hoping by doing so I'll be able to get fruit production off the grapevine and the Suriname cherry. Okay, that section is done. Now I'll move on to this other section here. In the front are my lychee or lychee trees. They flowered in the past, but have not set any fruit. These trees are just over 2 years old and have been in the ground for about 3 months. This next one is my strawberry tree. This one has been doing really well. It's been putting out fruit since mid-August, and it still has a really good amount of fruit. It's growing in a small 5-gallon grow bag. I eventually plan to put it in the ground, but not until it stops fruiting, which may be some time from now. The tree next to it is a gold nugget loquat. It's about 3 years old, has not produced any fruit. I plan on putting it in the ground next season as well. I also plan on buying a longan fruit tree and we'll plant it next to the loquat. Before I move on to the next set of trees, I'd like to show you these watermelon plants. Planted them late in the season, sometime toward the end of June. I wasn't sure I'd have enough warm weather left in the season to get any watermelons, but as you can see here, I'm pretty sure I'll get at least a couple of these to mature. There's a few more scattered throughout the vine, but this one and this other one here are the biggest, and I'm hoping these will mature. There are several smaller ones that are a ways from reaching full size. I don't think those will get to ripen before the weather starts to cool off. And over here are my peppers. I've got several varieties. All are doing well, and they are putting on a good amount of peppers. That's a Thai hot pepper, chile de árbol, jalapeno. There's a bell pepper that's covered by the watermelon somewhere here in this shot. You can get a glimpse of it. Okay, back to the fruit trees. Over here on the end is a Barbados acerola cherry tree. It's growing in a 15-gallon container. This is another one that will be put in the ground next season. I started to harvest off this tree in early August, and it still has plenty of fruit and flowers. And these are my Jujube trees. They're only about 2 years old. I bought them about 8 months ago. They flowered but did not set any fruit. This one here is my Australian finger lime. I've already harvested a few. It has several finger limes that are ready for picking and some flower buds that have yet to bloom. This tree here is supposed to be a Burgundy plum tree. I have my doubts about this one. I believe it might be some other variety. I've had it for over 3 years and it's never set any fruit. It's flowered, but no fruit set. The Burgundy is supposed to be a low chill, self-pollinating variety. I suspect this tree might actually be another type of plum that is not a low chill and or not self-pollinating. I plan to take it out and gift it. This next section is going to be a bit difficult to film. The space is really tight here. I have 5 dragon fruit varieties. I have 3 posts and I have the dragon fruit tied to each side so that it'll grow upward. These have been in the ground just over 2 years now. And this one here, the Super Blanco, just started to push out some flower buds. It's first time any of these have ever flowered. From research I've done, these require pollination and they usually only bloom for just a few hours, which is usually at night. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully I'll be able to get it to fruit. Okay, and now back to this section where I have 3 figs planted here. They were put in the ground about 7 months ago. This is Peter's honey in the front, blackjack in the rear left, and an Excel on the right. I just recently harvested a fig off of the Peter's honey. It's the very first one that I've ever harvested off this tree, and it was excellent in flavor and very sweet. And it looks like a couple of these will be ready for harvest soon. I hope to try the blackjack fig soon. Don't think I'll be getting any off the Excel until next season. This group of trees are my persimmons. That's a coffee cake in the front. A chocolate persimmon in the back right. And a fuyu persimmon on the left. These have been in the ground about 5 months and no fruit off of any of these. The persimmons, as well as the figs I just showed you, and a couple more groups I'm about to show you, were planted in a triangular shape, spaced at about 24 inches apart. As well as these mangoes are planted in the same manner. That is a coconut cream in the front. A Kerry mango in the back right. And a Glen mango in the back left. The Kerry is the only one that has set fruit. It had 3, but a squirrel got to them and only left this one. This next group here, this is my Patamba in the front. An ice cream bean tree in the back left. And a Grumi Chama on the back right. These have been in the ground about 8 months. Only the Patamba has produced fruit and it's flowering again. And these are my pink Barbie guavas. There are two trees here. They've been they've been in the ground for about 8 months, and they are putting on a pretty heavy crop. I had hoped to get everything in one video, but it turns out it's going to be a bit too long, so this will be part one of a two-part video series. In part two, I'll show you the remainder of all the trees and plants I have growing. There are still several to go, so please be on the lookout for that video. I'll have it ready for my next upload. If you enjoyed watching, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. As always, stay safe, grow your own, and thank you for watching.